Hello everybody, welcome to this week's episode of The County Seat. I'm your host, Chad Booth. Last spring, and actually into the summer, we got a lot of rain in Utah. It resulted in a great deal of flooding. You may recall the headlines and even a lengthy report on this program. But as is often the case, when the headlines fade and the real work of restoring the land takes place, people forget about it. Well, we haven't. We thought we would take a look at what has happened since the floods of the spring of this year and what steps counties have taken to mitigate the damage. Here with that report, Malia Bascom.
Whenever the water rises, we measure inch by inch, foot by foot. And that's about all we can do. Once flood conditions are just right, the best we can hope for is to move out of the way and pray that our homes are salvageable once the water recedes. Over much of this last spring and summer, Utah was at the center of a perfect storm for flooding. With property both private and public inundated, local counties were on the forefront of the fight to protect our communities. A few months later, that fight is still ongoing.
It was just because there was such high water for so long that we've never had before. That caused part of the problems.
Rivers escaped their banks and washed out roads, flooding homes and farmland. For local counties, that is an enormous problem. Unlike the state legislature, counties don't have the option of setting aside money for a rainy day fund. With no rainy day fund to pull from, their reconstruction options are limited.
Well, we don't have a lot of money for disasters, During the flooding, the county declared an emergency, which was a requirement of to get assistance from the state or federal government. Several of the other counties in the state were having the same problems with flooding, and so the governor declared a disaster or emergency, and then the next step is for the president to do that, and he did that about 3 weeks ago. And so that put all of the mechanism in place for us to get some assistance above and beyond the means of the county.
We signed some contracts with NRCS where they awarded us $500,000 to do some work on the river, and which included to fix the couple of places where the river actually breached out of its banks and was flowing across the highway. And so with that money, we've been able to fix the breach where we go in and clean the debris out and haul in some larger rock and what we call armor the bank.
That is the goal for all of the counties currently rebuilding. Work now to avoid flooding in the future. But prevention goes beyond just building better flood breaks.
There's got to be some management, yearly maintenance.
Rather than waiting until we have a disaster, we just need to find a way to take care of the problem before it becomes a problem. It really is helpful to be able to go in prior to the floods and do mitigation work.
Between government grants to build better fortifications and community projects to help diminish future flood impact, Utah counties are hoping the 2011 season will be known more for what it helped to create instead of what it destroyed. For the county seat, I'm Malia Bascom.
Thanks, Malia, for that report. A lot of the property damage as a result of the floods this spring really came from people building their homes in improper places and not really abiding by good planning and zoning policies set by a lot of the counties. So we're going to talk about planning and zoning when we come back here on the county seat. Stay with us.
Are you looking for a getaway, a place to beat the heat, crowds, and find adventure? Get to the point. Just get off I-15 in Beaver, Utah, and head up State Route 153 to Eagle Point Resort, a year-round destination nestled just outside the community of Beaver, Utah. Get to the point. Eagle Point Resort.
The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration. SITLA manages 3.5 million acres of Utah lands with the express purpose of furthering the education of Utah students while promoting local industry, oil and gas, even residential development, all at the same time. Through the careful use of trust lands, we distributed more than $22 million to Utah schools last year. The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration, building the state's permanent school fund.
What are the words that describe the perfect destination? Finding them all in one place is easy if you know where to look. Millard County in the heart of Utah offers ATV adventures, rock crawling events, art festivals, and nature at its most epic. Millard County, Utah. Find out what you've been searching for.
How would you spend an extra day in Utah Valley? Stay one more day. Visit utahvalley.com to make reservations. Utah Valley. Bring everyone together.